Chapter 19. When Yahusha spent the days in Yerushalayim, the nights were spent on the slopes of Mount Olive. And the disciples built shelters close to a place where there was an oil press. However, one day at eventide, Yahusha went to the house of Shimon the Pure, where some women who were followers of his were living. Though the disciples were given food, little was said to them, for, they being strangers, the people in the house were suspicious, and Shimon lay on a cushion across from Yahusha. After they had eaten and were talking together, a woman came from a house nearby. She was veiled and carried an alabaster jar. Now, this was Mary of Magdala, whose father had been a merchant, but he disowned her, for she had lived with a centurion serving in the army of Rome. When he returned to his lawful wife, Mary had kept herself by singing in the taverns of Galilee. The woman unsealed the jar and poured a sweet-scented oil over the head of Yahusha, seeing which some of those present were indignant, saying, "What a waste, when this could have been sold for a lot of money which would have benefited the poor." Yahusha said, "Leave her alone. There is little point in being angry with her when all she has done is to honor me. You can help the poor whenever you like, but I will not be here much longer." During this time, those in positions of power were taking counsel as to how they might take Yahusha by guile and deliver him to the Romans. For they feared a rising of the people during the great festival of the Yahudim. Now, Yehuda of Iskaroth, son of Shimon, who had followed Yosef just before coming to Yahusha and becoming one of the 12 apostles, sought for the Mashiach who would deliver the Yahudim. This he now believed to be another, not Yahusha, and he therefore sought to have Yahusha held during the festival. Yehuda, unlike the other apostles, was a Yahudim, therefore, he was unrestricted. Yehuda went to the council and said, "My master performs signs and fulfills prophecies which speak to the hearts of the people. Therefore, might they not proclaim him in the coming days?" The council said, "The people are ripe for revolt, and troublemakers are many. We will take this one also. Reveal him to us, and we will hold him. And for the service you will be paid in silver." One who sat in the council sent a warning to Yahusha, saying, "Leave Bethany and go to Ephraim." But Yahusha returned a reply which said, "Things are as they should be, and the prophecies will be fulfilled." On the first day of the festival, when lambs were being sacrificed, the disciples came to Yahusha and asked where the Pesach meal should be eaten. Yahusha chose 2 of these and sent them away with this instruction: "Go down and cross the stream flowing eastward from the city, at a place where there is a covered well. There you will see a man seated with a water pitcher beside him. Say to this man, 'We thirst but need more than water.' He will then arise, saying nothing, and you must follow him at a distance. And when you see him enter a house, go in also, giving this message to the owner, 'We come from the master.' He will then show you a room where you must make preparations." Now, the house belonged to Obed, who was nigh 80 years of age, whose brother was Barnabas the elder. In an upper room, the disciples prepared the Pesach meal. And when it was evening, Yahusha came with the 12 apostles and 3 others, but only 13 ate with him after he had taken his place at the table and all were seated. Yahusha said, "I have very much wanted to keep this Pesach with you because it is the last before my ordeal. And I tell you, I will not share another with you until my purpose is fulfilled." Then he took the cup before him and drank, saying, "Blood is the life of men, while this is the life of the grape sacrificed for men, so it is a fitting and worthy symbol of he who offers his life for men. I will not taste wine again until the rule of Elohim is established." He then passed the cup to Yochanan, and, taking the bread, he gave thanks and broke it, saying, "This represents my body, which will be broken as an example to the sons and daughters of men. For all must freely sacrifice for others. As you eat of the bread, which is sacrifice, so shall you eat the bread of eternal life. For without sacrifice, there is no life. Henceforth, call it remembrance bread and remembrance wine. When meeting afterwards, do this and remember me." but remember also the sacrifices which must be made for the cause of Elohim." Yahusha said, "The sacrifice is ready. The hand of the betrayer rests upon this table and dips in the bowl. But this is as it should be. Take the cup and drink again. Let it seal a new covenant signed with the blood of one who is dedicated to the cause of men and their salvation from darkness into life eternal." Those about the table began to speculate among themselves as to who would do such a thing. But Yahusha bid them be silent, saying, "There is no evil lacking some seeds of goodness which, if extracted, can be nurtured into great trees. A man, finding his store bag of seed grain is moldy, does not throw it out, but searches to find the good grains, and from these he grows a crop which ripens to goodness." They then began disputing among themselves as to who was first in precedence among them. And Yahusha said, "Those with worldly authority derive satisfaction from declaring themselves benefactors of the people, but the benefit they seek is that accruing to themselves. Let this not be so among you, the ones seeking least for themselves and giving most being those taking precedence." After a while, Yahusha said, "My friends, I shall be with you only a short time now." Kepha said, "Master, where do you go? Are you deserting us? Can we not come with you?" Yahusha said, "You cannot follow me immediately on this path, and to accompany me would serve no purpose. But later on you can follow me. Do not become faint-hearted, for if you believe in what I have taught you, believe also that I will be guided and strengthened. I shall prepare a place for you in the kingdom of Yahweh and wait there to welcome you. Where I will be, you shall be also, and where you are, there too I will be. You know the way to where I am going and can follow, for the Torah and the books of wisdom are the way, the truth and the light. I have brought you a light to show the way. Follow it and you will not go astray. Later you will understand that I am united with the Father. And as I am united with him, so you are united with me. Though we are many, let us stand as one. And those who serve I will serve. To he who believes in my teachings I will manifest. For what I do is done to prove to men my own convictions, that they will come to accept my teachings and follow the road of salvation. The people yearn for the fulfillment of the prophecies and will surely follow one who fulfills them." Thomas said, "Are you going to manifest only to us?" Yahusha answered, "If anyone care for me and my cause, I will speak to him through the power of the Ruach HaKodesh, and it will come to him also. Those who do not care for me or my cause will ignore my teachings, but do not fear them. Be on guard against those who pay lip service only. While I am with you, I can speak as men speak, but when I am gone, the Ruach HaKodesh will bear messages in my name, clarifying your minds so you recall all I have taught you. In the kingdom of the Ruach there are many splendid places, and I assure those who remain steadfast that they will be in the best of these. For when men die, each is drawn to the place whereof he is worthy, even to each one is prepared a place for his soul. I will go down in the flesh to arise again in the Ruach with power to manifest to men. I will demonstrate what man can do, and as I do, so can all men. I am a sacrifice to the misguided beliefs of men, that, in the fulfillment of those beliefs, they might turn to the path of their salvation. I am the vine, and he who is above me is the cultivator. You are the branches, and the sap in me flows out to you. The sap is my teachings, severed from which you will be like a branch cut from the vine, only suitable for burning. I am the vine, and you are its fruit, and if the vine is sound, surely its fruit will be sound also. This is my last instruction to you: love one another as I have loved you. For there is but one greater love than that of a man who would sacrifice his life for his friends, and that is sacrifice of a life for a cause where he serves those unknown to him. I have said, love one another, for you will be strengthened in the knowledge of that love. If the world hates you, it has hated me first. If you were to remain part of the world, it would accept you as its own and love you. But because I have severed you from the world, setting you apart, it will hate you. For it is in the nature of worldly men to hate those who are different. And not only are you different, but you also seek to point out their wickedness. If I chose an easier path, your burden would be so much greater, and the fruit of the vine might fall on barren ground. As they have persecuted me, so they would have persecuted you. As they have spurned my teachings, so they would have spurned yours. And as they rejected me, so they would have rejected you. I have much more to say, but you cannot receive it now. Later, the Ruach of wisdom will come when you are ready and guide you truthfully. It will speak to you with a voice of its own, but will convey to you what comes from above. Soon now you will see me no more in the flesh, but you will behold me in a new and glorious form. Those with Yahusha did not understand the meaning of what he said, and discussed it among themselves, saying, "What does he mean by soon?" Others said, "What can he mean when he says, 'Soon you will no longer see me, but then you will behold me'?" The others said, "We just cannot tell." Yahusha, knowing what they were saying and what was in their thoughts, said, "You are wondering about the things I have said. I can assure you that while you sorrow, the world will rejoice, for its hopes are fulfilled. A woman becomes afraid just before she gives birth, but once the ordeal is over, she no longer recalls the labor pains but rejoices in her child. So too you will grieve for a while, but I will manifest to you, and then you will rejoice in your hearts. The Father's will is that the things I teach should be given to the people, but they will not listen, arguing among themselves as to who I am. Therefore, I must drain the bitter cup of life to its last dregs. Then they will say, 'This is he,' and heed my words. This I do for men, and none can say I have not faced up to the tests of life or I have shirked its supreme trial." The disciples then drank the reeling cup, and Yahusha said to Kepha, "I depend upon you to carry the burden among the brethren." Kepha said, "Master, I am ready to go anywhere, to follow you to prison or even to death." Yahusha said, "Before the cocks crow in the morning, even you, the most loyal of men, will desert me. Must I undergo the ordeal friendless?" Then all the others assured him of their loyalty. Yahusha said, "When I sent you out with few possessions, did you ever go short of anything?" They said, "No." Yahusha then said, "Things are different now. Those who have a purse of money had better take it with them and keep a pack prepared for flight. Whoever is without a sword, let him sell his cloak and buy one. For I can assure you I will fulfill all that the holy books say. And is it not written, 'He was classified as an outlaw'? Yes, truly all that is written will be fulfilled in me, and men will find salvation through this fulfillment." One of the disciples said, "Look, Master, we have 2 swords among us." Yahusha said, "That is sufficient." Kepha said, "Master, are you going to lead us against the kingdom of evil in arms?" Yahusha said, "The battle is for the immortal souls of men. Feast your eyes on me, for the hour draws near when I shall no longer be with you in body." Then he said to Yehuda, "Go, spend whatever money is needful, but make haste." No man there understood the meaning of this saying. When Yehuda had gone, Yahusha said, "Upon me has fallen the obligation for fulfilling the hopes of men. Now I give you a last command, stand by one another. For if you remain loyal to my cause and to each other, all will know you are true men of Yahweh. Do not worry over much, have faith in the goodness of Yahweh and in me. In the kingdom of heaven there are many places, and had it been otherwise, I would have told you. I go first and will prepare a compatible place for all who are with us. Do not fear because of the destruction of the body. Remember all I have told you, but be staunch and steadfast, for as they have persecuted me, so will they persecute you. Remember, I have overcome the fears of the flesh. This is my conquest. I will now reveal the secret of my glory. It is dedication to service, and that glory is the heritage of all men." When they had finished, Yahusha went out with his followers and, passing over the stream of Kidron, went to a place called Gethsemane because of an oil press there. He took 11, as Marcus the Yahudim, who was a priest, did not go, Kepha being jealous of him. This Marcus had been a follower of Yochanan of the wilderness and was a friend of Yehuda. When Yahusha departed with the 11, Marcus did not return to his mother's house in Ophel, but stayed with Lazarus and the others. After Yahusha had gone, men came to take him, and Marcus, snatching a cloak, dashed out to warn Yahusha. Though knowing what should be done for the Mashiach, Yehuda went to the captain of the temple guard and said, I am one of those who follow Yahusha the Galilean, but I fear what he intends to bring about. Therefore, let him be held as the council has decreed. When Yahusha reached the chosen spot in Gethsemane, he turned and said to those with him, Pray that you may be spared the test. He then took Kepha, Jacob and Yochanan and withdrew with them about a stone's throw away. Yahusha was depressed and filled with foreboding. And he said to the three, I am going apart to pray for strength to do what must be done. You stay here and keep watch. Perhaps the cup of bitterness will pass me by, for with the Father all things are possible. But I fear there is no other way for me but to abide my destiny. Yahusha went just a short distance and lifted his face to the stars and red glowing moon above. Jacob heard him pray, Father, everything is in your hand. Let it not be as I would have it, but according to your will, I leave it in your hand. But let not the ordeal be too much for me. The hour is at hand. Strengthen the Son whom you have glorified with the power of your Ruach, that he may bring to fruition the task you have set him, leading men to the path of eternal life. Is there no other way? He then came back to the three, and the sweat stood out redly on his brow. And finding two asleep, for they were heavy with wine, he said to Kepha, Shimon, could you not stay awake even at a time such as this? Be vigilant and watch, praying you may be spared a greater test. In days to come, men will lift up their eyes to heaven and say, Blessed was he who came in the name of Yahweh, bringing us the light of salvation. My soul is very sorrowful because of the things I must endure and accomplish, that the aspirations of men shall not be denied a response. Tarry, therefore, a while longer, keeping me company so I do not weaken. The Ruach is willing, but the flesh is weak. It is a dreadful thing I must do. Then he went away again, but what he prayed no man knows. When he returned, all three were asleep, for the wine had befuddled them. Yahusha said, Still sleeping? Now it is enough, for the hour has come, and the servant of man is betrayed into the hands of his enemies. Let us wait no longer, for here they come. Yahusha was now quite calm and strengthened. Now, the place where Yahusha had gone was known to Yehuda, who arrived accompanied by the temple guards carrying torches, staves and cudgels. Seeing them, Yahusha stood up and said, Whom do you seek? Yehuda went up to him and said, Master, I am here. He kissed Yahusha to let him know he came with friendly intentions, but it also identified him. For though those who came knew Yahusha by sight, the Torah required that some other identify him. But he was not taken according to the Torah, but by the temple guards. Yahusha said, So the Mashiach has been selected for sacrifice by a kiss. But Yehuda said, No, Master, there will be no sacrifice. When the temple guards seized hold of Yahusha, one with him drew a sword and wounded one of them. Another said, Shall we smite with our swords? But Yahusha forbade this, saying to the captain of the guard, Were my kingdom of this world, I would order my followers to take up arms. But my kingdom is not of this world, and evil cannot be vanquished by evil. He rebuked them with the words, Did you expect to find a dangerous criminal who had to be overcome with weapons? I have been among you many days, and you left me alone. Still, what has to be done will be done, so do as you must. The captain of the guard said, If this were left until tomorrow, many would die.